Kind of feels like the trade deadline, a flurry of trades here as we approach the end of June. The June trade window, of course, will be coming to an end shortly, but let's dive into it as a couple of these trades pretty big. So I'm going to go in order of the trades that have been announced, starting off with Brampton and Sarnia. The Steelheads have sent Jack Van Volsen to the Sting for David Green, Sarnia's fifth round pick in 2026, and Ottawa's third round pick in 2027. Now, those two draft picks, they are conditional, but this is a pretty significant move here as Sarnia right now seen as one of the teams that could take a big step going into next season. And Van Volsen, if he can live up to his expectations, should be a good top six player here for the Sarnia Sting. Although in Brampton, there were times where you felt like, he could bring a little bit more of offense. Last year, he appeared in 67 games, 17 goals, 22 assists, 39 points. Now, he was kind of lowered in the depth chart when they had that top line of McDonnell, Rakoff, and Martone. So he was kind of bouncing between the second and third line at times during the regular season. But for Van Volsen, he was Peterborough's first round pick in 2022. And he hasn't passed 20 goals in a season yet. He got 20 goals in the 2023-24 season. And you have to wonder if maybe this is the year he takes that leap. He is a 2006 born player, so Sarnia could get 2 years from him unless he decides to go to the NCAA route going into his overage season. But I do like this pickup from the Sarnia Sting. This is a team that is committed to having a strong push here. They've got that core that's really grown together. And I think Van Volsen will kind of assist with that. He is listed as a centerman. He has been known to play on the wing at times, so we'll have to wait and see how the Sarnia Sting will play him there. But it is interesting, though, for Brampton. Obviously, we know that the Steelheads are going to take a step back after last year's run with the high expectations. Picking up David Green, he's the brother of Peter Green, who is the first-round pick of the Brampton Steelheads in the 2025 OHL Priority Selection. And last year, he played with the Green Bay Gamblers. 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points. Remember, Green, he's a defenseman like his brother Peter, and he has a commitment to Merrimack College in the NCAA. And now that CHL players can play in the NCAA, expect Green to sign with the Brampton Steelheads. He's already been with the team. They did a photo shoot. He was wearing the Steelheads jersey, so all indications are he will report and sign a commitment with the Brampton Steelheads. So we're going to have 2 Greens playing on the blue line with the Brampton Steelheads, it looks like, going into the 25-26 season. And I do think this is a good move for both teams. Brampton, a team looking to the future, whereas the Sarnia Sting looking to add to their offensive threat as they get ready for this upcoming season. I still don't know if it's enough to make them as maybe a favorite to win the West Division, but it does make things a little more intriguing as they try and catch the Windsor Spitfires going into next year. The next trade to talk about, the Soo Greyhounds and Oshawa Generals. Oshawa has acquired goaltender Reid Thomas and Soo's 7th round pick in 2028 for Oshawa's 2nd round pick in 2029 and Oshawa's 15th pick in 2028. So this is a move looking to the future. Thomas, he is a young goaltender. He's only played in 1 game in the Ontario Hockey League. That was last season with the Greyhounds. And he came in relief, has a goals against a 6.08. But when you look at what he was able to do in the NOJHL and with the Aurelia Terriers of the PGHL, you can see that he's growing along. He's steadily getting better. Last year with the Aurelia Terriers, he joined the team late after the run with the Blind River Beavers came to an end. And with the Terriers, he had a .915 save percentage over 2 games in the regular season. And then the postseason, Aurelia going on quite the run, nearly getting to the PGHL final. They were knocked out in the semifinal against the Hanover Barons. And in that playoff run, Thomas had a record of 10-6, a 3.37 goals against, and an .892 save percentage. So Reid Thomas, maybe backup material next year for the Oshawa Generals. He's a project for the future, but he's also an Oshawa native. So the hometown boy coming back, and he's going to have a chance to represent the Generals as early as next season. So it's always nice when you see the local kids brought in to potentially play for the team they grew up watching, and that seems to be the case here for Reid Thomas. Now, a pretty significant trade was announced earlier today between the London Knights and the Brantford Bulldogs. I'm really curious to how fans are going to react to this one. Ryder Boulton traded to the Bulldogs for Kitchener's 7th round pick in 2026. Now, for Bolton, he's a 2-time OHL champion and now a 1-time Memorial Cup champ. But there's some controversy here. Let's go over Ryder Boulton's stats. Last year, 43 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. So obviously, they're not acquiring him for his offensive capabilities. It's his physicality. Last year, 85 penalty minutes, and he also missed significant time due to suspension. He was handed an 8-game suspension early last season for a slash on Saginaw Zane Parekh. He was also suspended 1 game in the Memorial Cup for a warm-up violation against the Medicine Hat Tigers. So Bolton, he's a player that plays on the edge, and you see that now with even at the National Hockey League level. Look at the Florida Panthers and the style they play. That solid forecheck, the physicality, the big hits. They try to wear down their opponents, and we've seen London doing this over the last 2 seasons where they play that intimidating style. So the Brantford Bulldogs have been seen as one of the favorites in the Eastern Conference going into next year and have now added some sandpaper to the lineup. So like I said, I'm curious as to how fans around the Ontario Hockey League are going to feel about this trade because I know a lot of fans outside of London, they voiced their frustrations with Bolton and even his brother prior, Sawyer Bolton. Fans were voicing their frustrations about them and just their style. But obviously, with the way the game's being played now in the pro ranks, even in the OHL, you start to see copycat situations. And for the Brantford Bulldogs, wanting to bring in that physicality, and we'll see how this translates as Ryder Boulton, now a member of the Brantford Bulldogs. Before we do sign out, we have one signing to discuss. As a first-round pick, Matthew Henderson of the Kingston Frontenacs. He has signed his OHL scholarship and development agreement. He was the 17th overall pick at the 2025 OHL priority selection. Kuhlman was their first pick. He hasn't signed at this time, but Henderson, a defenseman from the Sarnia area, 6 foot, 172 pounds. He is a pretty big defenseman, and you have to figure he's only going to grow from here. So great signing for Kingston. That's going in a bit of a retool here. I still expect Kingston to be a playoff team going into next season, especially when you've got Troy Mann behind the bench. But still, I think this is a great news for fans of the Kingston Frontenacs who are looking to their future. And I think Matthew Henderson has the potential to be a fan favorite going forward from here. So that's how I see it from the booth. Very curious about your thoughts on some of these trades here today. So put your comments down below. And again, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.